Father, he was a friend. He knew the word of God and didn't just get on stage and act it. Then I saw this other family who the man would be on stage and preach, but got home, wasn't the best of dads, wasn't the best of husband. And I saw both end. And you can see, you can see a man who lives a double standard and a man who's lived a single standard life, who has made Christ the center of his life, on stage and off stage. We have the air hoster, if I have to borrow Pastor Dadson's words, we have a lot of air hoster attitude worship leaders who are very pious on stage, who are very stage perfect, and off the stage are either demons or something in between demon and that one. And so, I can see Pastor Denzel laughing. I've sat in meetings and you mention a gospel minister's name and everybody is walking away or turning their head and you're asking, oh, what happened? Oh, she's such a diva, we cannot handle her. Or, oh no, we cannot. You're so humble. And they're telling that to you. Well, and at that meeting, what I said to myself is, Father, I pray that when I'm away from this meeting, they will not say the same thing about me like they're saying about this other person. Cause me to be humble. And how can we be humble? By being like Christ. And Philippians, I love Philippians because Paul just knows how to say these things. Says, let this mind be in you. Be like Christ, who, being the same as God, did not consider himself equal with God, but humbled himself, even to death. Listen, you only got one hit song. You only led worship once. And people came and lifted up their hands. And you think you are there. And so people should carry you up. And so when you're off the stage, you're a diva. But when you're on the stage, you are acting holy. That double standard will not take you far. It will wither, it will show. But if it's a single standard life, what you see is what you get. You cannot lose on that. God help us. God help us to be able to be who we say people should be. It's a constant thing that I'm praying. It's my greatest fear. Whenever I'm interviewed and somebody asks you, what is your greatest fear? And I'll tell you without mincing words, the complacency, that's what wakes me up and keeps me awake at night. The fear of complacency, the fear of thinking, I've arrived, I can do it, I know how to do it. We can do it. It can kill a ministry. And so no matter how often you've done it, take every stage, every worship session, World Cup. When I say World Cup, the people you're meeting, you don't even know. Somebody left a question, forgive me for talking so long, but somebody left a question and said, for 10 years, I backed Francis AJ, and how was it like? Yeah. Just being behind the scenes and not doing. I tell you what, when my executive producer, who I have worked with since 2007, actually got to know me because Francis AJ allowed me to do one line. Care by the power of God. I did that song with some high pitch but I could do that. Care by the power of God. That song years ago. And when the man met me, he said to me, I fell in love with you because of this song you did on that album. 10 years of being a BV. I did it wholeheartedly. I humbled myself. I never disrespected the oil on the man's life. I enjoyed doing it. I humbled myself. God help us to be humble, not act humble. We are very good at acting humble and being humble. We should also not confuse humility with timidity. We're not saying be timid. No. Being humble is not being timid. Being confident is not being arrogant. Let's try and get those things right. Let's try and not misunderstand those. But let's live a single standard life. God help us.